Some weeks you do outreach, others you don't. Some weeks you create content, other weeks you're too busy. Some weeks you follow up with leads, other weeks they go cold. That inconsistency, that's why your business is not growing faster. Inconsistent action leads to inconsistent income.
Welcome to Success Spectrum Podcast, where new entrepreneurs break free from limiting beliefs, build unshakable financial confidence, and step boldly into the life and business they were meant to create.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Success Spectrum Podcast, sponsored by Apex Affiliation. I'm your host, Kadeem McLean. We have a villain out there, and the villain is really your feelings, to be honest with you. And not so much your feelings, but what we do when we feel those feelings. What I mean by that is your business is not growing the way you want it to grow because you are taking inconsistent action. You do it when you feel like it. And when you do something when you feel like it, inconsistent action leads to inconsistent income. So if your income is inconsistent, your growth for your business is inconsistent, and you're wondering what's happening, why is it not working? It's because of your feelings. You keep restarting every single week. Instead of restarting every week and going with what you feel like doing, we can have this hero come in. And this hero is simply scheduling in what we know we need to get done. There's 4 main activities that we can schedule so that we can get it done and make sure we stick with what we set out to do and stick with our business growth, our goals. Because ultimately, if we do not stick with something consistently, we don't give it a chance to compound. Your income will not compound, your effort will not compound, your results will not compound because you're not doing something consistently. Consistency is a requirement for compounding. If there's no consistency, there is no compounding. There's no results that you can measure because you're not measuring the activities. You don't even know when you're going to do these activities because you're inconsistent. And I'm speaking from personal experience. There's been many times where I did not schedule something, and because I didn't schedule it, I just put it down on the task list that I need to get done. At some point, other priorities pop up, and then they compete with that priority. It's on my task list, but it's not as important as a family emergency or something along those lines coming up. So now that task list gets pushed to the side. Or there's been many times where this has happened, and maybe it's happened to you before as well. I put it on the task list, but I forgot I put it on the task list. And then days go by or weeks go by. I look at the task list and I'm like, oh shoot, I still didn't do that. I got to get to that. And then maybe I'll schedule it in my calendar, and that's when it gets done. See, activities do not get completed when they're just on your task list. At that point, it's optional. I got to get to it at some point. But when you put it in your calendar, now it's something that you know you've committed to. You have devoted yourself to doing this thing. And what devote means is really to remove your vote. I'm going to do this thing no matter what, come hell or high water. I'm going to give you the 4 things in a moment, but before I do, I just want to bring home the point. Muay Thai. I do Muay Thai as an example. I train Muay Thai. And when I first started out, I would go once a week, sometimes maybe twice, maybe 3 times. But it was very inconsistent. And one of the reasons for that is because I didn't devote myself to it. I didn't put it in my calendar until I removed my vote, until I removed my option of going. And I said, you know what, Kadeem, we are going every single day, except Sundays, to Muay Thai. We're going to train every single day, Monday through Saturday. At that point, I could no longer say I don't feel like going today, I'll go tomorrow. No, because I have to go 6 days a week. That is what I committed to. That is what I devoted myself to doing. And it got to a point where, of course, everybody else in the gym is, if I missed a day, it's like, yo, Kadeem, where were you? What happened? Like, oh, I was away on a trip or whatever the case is. Because I devoted myself, the environment started to mesh into that and understand what Kadeem does. Kadeem shows up to Muay Thai Monday through Saturday. If he's not here, there's probably a problem. And that's what my mind, my brain, the way it was wired because of the activities that I was doing. There's 4 things that a successful business will schedule and do regularly every single week. They might have a Content Tuesday, for example, or an Outreach Tuesday. They might have a Thursday follow-up, right? Or a Friday follow-up. They might do something in terms of content creation on a Wednesday, right? And then they'll have a review Saturday or Sunday. There's these 4 things that they do: content creation, follow-up, review, and of course they do outreach. Those 4 activities are what they do regularly every single week without question. It's not like they have somebody who says if they're sick, it's not going to happen. No, because they have people in place to take care of that, or they automate the process. And that's really what we're talking about today, is the automation. Because when you take away your vote, when you put it in your calendar, you are automating it. You show up to work almost automatically if you're still working a job, or when you used to work a job, because you know if you don't show up, that paycheck ain't coming in. You've got to show up so you can get that paycheck. It wasn't really a question of whether or not you were going. Some of you will show up when you are sick, risk other people getting sick because you show up to work instead of taking the day off because you need the paycheck and you've already used all your sick days. You are devoted to going to work. The same way you were devoted to going to work is the same way we need to devote ourselves to our business, and therefore these 4 scheduled events. So what do we really do? How do we overcome this weekly restart thing? Schedule these 4 events in your calendar at a specific day, a specific time, every single week. So you schedule it for Tuesday, for example. Whatever time you select, that is when you do your outreach. Make it a recurring event. So every Tuesday at this time is when Kadeem does outreach. This Wednesday, every week at this specific time, is when Kadeem does content creation. Thursday, or Friday rather, is when Kadeem does follow-up. And Saturday or Sunday is when you do your review. Every single week. And here's what you can do. You can watch this compound. If you schedule this and you set it for the next 30 days, if you do this for the next 30 days, every single week, watch what happens to your business.
What if shopping could earn you cash instead of just costing you? You've been stuck in the cycle, tap, swipe, spend, watching your paycheck just disappear. But one day, after you stumbled onto this app called Rakuten, you ask yourself, why am I paying full price when I don't have to? But then you think, maybe it's just another gift. Then one of your friends tell you about this app called Rakuten, who makes them money and gives them cash back and rewards for thousands of stores every time they make a purchase that they were made anyway. You try it once, you discover hidden deals, compare prices, and you start winning. Shopping becomes a strategy. Every tap pays you back, and you still get what you want. You share Rakuten with your friends, watch your income grow, and become more financially confident. Download the Rakuten app today and keep more of your hard-earned money in your pocket.
When you automate things, when you are consistent with it, as I was alluding to earlier, that is when you can see things compound. When it comes to your finances, if you invest $50, $100, $500 every paycheck, however much you can afford, that is when you allow your money, your dollars to compound. It's the same thing with your effort. It's the same thing with your results. They will compound if you stick to doing these activities regularly and you remove your option, you remove your choice from doing these things. So for the next 30 days, that's my challenge to you. Open your calendar right now. Schedule these 4 events. Monday, Tuesday, whichever days and times work for you. Schedule it, make it a recurring event at least for the next 30 days. And make sure you follow it consistently. And over the next 30 days, if you stick to it, you will likely get more done in those 30 days than you got done in the last 6 months. Or than you would have in the next 6 months if you stuck to doing things at random. Random activities leads to random results. Inconsistent action, like I said, leads to inconsistent income. So until you really schedule these things in and you make it a regular occurrence of doing these things, your business is not going to grow. You're wondering why you're not seeing growth in your business. This is exactly why. Because you do it when you feel like it. Because you do it when you remember. Like I said about my task list, when I put things on my task list, sometimes I keep them in front of me. They're at my desk. But until I look over, I don't remember that it was on my task list. And when I finally look over and I say, oh shoot, you know what? Let me schedule this in my calendar so I can remember to do it. Once it's in my calendar, I have committed. I have devoted myself to doing this thing. But if it's not, that's just something I got to get to. It's a to-do thing I'll do at some point. I don't know when I'll do it, but I'll do it whenever, at some point, if there's no other priorities before it. But when it's in the calendar, you set that priority. The priority is that thing on that specific day at that specific time. So it will get done no matter what, because you've committed to it. I challenge you to do this for the next 30 days and see the results that it leads to. You will get more done than a lot of people get done in a year, than a lot of people get done in 6 months. If you stick to this, and imagine if you did do this for 6 months, never mind 30 days, that's the start. But if you stuck to this for 6 months, where would your business be? Where would your income be? Where would your life be? Your trajectory would look completely different than it has looked in the last 2 years of business, because you are committed, because you have devoted yourself to doing this thing and removed your option, removed your vote. That is how your business will really and truly grow, through that commitment of these actions. It doesn't grow by osmosis. It doesn't grow by feelings. Feelings are a good thing. We're human. Okay, great. But what do you do as a result of those feelings? Do you react to your feelings, or are you premeditated? Because I'm going to tell you this, your business does not care about your feelings. It's an unfortunate and hard truth. Your business does not care about your feelings. Your clients ultimately don't care about your feelings. Can you get them the results that they're looking for? And that is what these 4 activities will help you to do. As a reminder, inconsistent action creates inconsistent income. Build the engine, the 30-day engine, which is what we talked about, those 4 activities, doing it for the next 30 days. Run it every single week and watch your efforts compound. If this was beneficial for you, if you got something out of this, click that like button, click that subscribe button, keep coming back, and hey, drop the thing that stuck out to you the most in the comments. If you want to see something a little bit different in terms of business, entrepreneurship, or finances even, drop it in the comments so I know that this content is really helping you. Share it with somebody who you know can benefit, and keep returning. I appreciate you for showing up. Remember, success is not a destination, it's a spectrum. So keep evolving. Kadeem here, and I'll see you on the next one.